Hello and welcome back. Today's replay is another one from my Grozovoi games. Since I think at this time I was still grinding legendary, and I think, like I mentioned in the last time I had a Grozovoi video, it's a ship I really learned to enjoy while doing this grind. So always fun to play around with it, and in addition to myself, I'm playing with Pref in the Yoshino and also PME cameras in the Kremlin. We have a CV game, but it's only tier 8, so it's not too much to be afraid of in the Grozovoi. I'm taking quite a long route and sticking to the outside, partly because I didn't know if the sea was coming here, and also because there are radar ships on the enemy team, so I don't really want to go into the cap here without having an idea of what is over here. We see that we have an enemy BB over here, the Alsace, and we also spot Yamato. The enemy team has 3 DDs though, and so far none have been spotted. The same for radar ships. Enemy Z-52 is spotted together with Yamato in the far back. So that's actually quite good, because it doesn't mean that he isn't over at the cap and being able to radar me in case I decide to go in there. So now I know I am a bit safer than might otherwise have been. We also see the Haruguma over at A, so I'm feeling pretty confident that I can at least head towards D, and if there is a radar ship close by I can always run away, is the plan. Having a look about what Alsace is doing, if it's gonna turn in or stop or what, just see. Obviously there's an island in front, so can't exactly torp. We do also see the Moskva. I'm luckily sailing away from him and out of radar range, so I don't have to fear too much in case I need to smoke up. Z-52 is here though, but he's also running away a bit. So I'm trying to stay as far north in the cap as I can, but I still enter it to try and give us the advantage here. I have honestly a lot of support from the team here, not only from Pref and cameras, but several other ships. Our western side is much weaker though, so we can expect that that flank will sooner or later fall, and it's on this side we will have to do the push. I smoke up and start shooting at the Yamato. The Grozovoi reload is obviously really good, and even though the damage per shell is not exactly impressive, the sheer amount adds up, and we also see that we get fires from time to time, and especially on battleships that just helps a lot with getting some additional damage. Over at the A side we have lost both our other DDs, which is definitely a tough blow so early in the game. And so far the 32 is not really trying to contest the cap, but I am still trying to be vigilant against any incoming torps. Obviously again I keep shooting at Yamato and setting fire, so my damage keeps ticking. Enterprise is also sending some planes, and like I said before, it's tier 8. So I'm not overly concerned, but I hold my AA until he's basically on top of me, then I activate it and my defensive A. And this is a pretty good example of how strong the Grozovoi AA is, and it also really sets the tone for this game between me and enemy CV. So in like 20 seconds or thereabout, I shoot down 18 planes. So yeah. And we will also see that the enemy CV did not exactly enjoy that, and he will spend more time than is wise to try and strike me instead of our ships. But we will see that later in the game. Right now I'm holding my fire since I don't have smoke, and even though the Grozovoi can definitely gunboat in the open, I don't really want to do it unnecessarily. Because as expected there is also planes incoming. And they're rocket planes, so they are a bit more annoying, but even so, not too concerned. They fly by me, so I activate my AA and start firing the Yamato again. And without defensive AA, the amount of plane kills I get is not as impressive, but I still shoot down another 4. I am turning around while I have the opportunity to try and get away from the Yamato a bit. I also know that somewhere down south there is a Moskva, so I don't necessarily want to be too close to those ships. So I kite a bit, try to make it around the island just right of me, while continuing to annoy the Yamato. We also see that over at the western side of the map we only have a Henry left. So as expected, that side has completely crumbled. He's doing a good job though, staying alive and keeping the enemies occupied while we slowly make our way over here. We are behind 2 ships, and my team isn't really pushing me as I would have liked, so it's also difficult for me to really go any further without adequate support. And they will see the Henry in the west go down, so now that side is completely deleted. Pref has made his way over there to try and keep him at bay. But we are still behind, and we really need to start dealing with the Moskva and the Yamato over here. I start to change my direction to make it harder for especially the Moskva but also the Yamato to hit me, while I wait to get undetected and for the Moskva to pop his radar, which he does here. So again, here we say I start accelerating instead, and the Moskva overshoots me. So basically I'm just trying to wait for the radar to run out for me to be able to smoke up. I'm also hoping that my battleship support and Hindenburg as well can do some good damage to the Moskva, which they do, and I open up just as my smoke gets ready. Don't really manage to hit him very much or do any damage, but he goes down regardless. which means I can continue to farm the Yamato a bit. And with Moskva now gone, we only really have the Yamato over here, so we should be able to deal with him without any major issues. And then make our way west to the ships that the enemy team has there. Enterprise trying to drop me in the smoke, but unsurprisingly he doesn't exactly succeed in that, and I shoot down all 9 planes. I continue to reverse though, because it looked like he was able to get some torps off. So I'm just sitting here in the smoke by the island and waiting for them to pass while I continue to annoy the Yamato. And we also saw briefly the torpedoes there, so that was also clear example that the CV would really like me to be dead. It could have gone a bit longer for the Fredrik Grozovoi and probably have an much easier time. But instead it tries to torp my smoke to get rid of me, since I guess my AA is something he would rather get out of the game instead of trying to focus on killing something I can actually manage to hit. Because so far I've shot down 31 planes and he hasn't done any damage to me. But he's trying, I have to give him that, and he will continue to do so, as we will see in a bit. Breath goes down unfortunately, but manages to take a ship with him. So we are actually managing to keep it fairly even. We're actually 1 ship ahead right now. And we're equal on caps, so we have a small lead on points. And in Montana is in my range, so I open up before the island gets in the way, hoping to get maybe a fire or 2 and some additional damage. Enterprise comes again with bombers this time, and looks like he's going for the BB, so I decide to help out a bit. I change my view to look at the Fredrik Grozovoi for a fraction of a second, and in that time I shot down all 8 planes. So he must have hit some pretty big flak clouds, because that was just planes gone in an instant. Montana's up again, so I continue to farm him a bit while I make my way towards the cap. And we are actually starting to get a bit better control of this game. The enemy team is now down to 4 ships, while we still have 6. And the CV that we spot here is not really able to do anything, since he continues to try and attack where I am. He also does it in a perhaps too direct approach, since he keeps going straight through me to the BB instead of going around and have a better chance of actually hitting something. I'm trying here to make my way into the cap. I activate my defensive A because rocket planes can definitely hit me, and it does, but not too much damage. So I can smoke up and shoot down some more planes, up to 44 now, and to make matters worse for the CV, I now also start to shoot at him instead. So yeah, that CV, I think it's fair to say that he really doesn't like me. But I'm having a great time shooting down planes left and right, doing some really good damage. Sadly no kills yet. Here we see again that he's trying to hit me in the smoke, but he misses, and I just shoot down more planes. One turn is about to go down, and at last I get myself a kill. And I can also continue to try and cap, but I move out to see if I can spot the CV and shoot down some more planes, kill him, ideally at least get some more damage. And we see now that I have 61 plane kills, and he's come again with some rocket planes. He is spotted again, and I open up. And of course, shooting down some more planes, getting also loads of fires, up to 14 now. And my damage keeps growing, and the number of shell hits we can also see is a substantial amount. Trying some AP as well, see how that works. Using my last defensive A against the torpedo bombers, even though I really don't have to, but since the CV is about to die, I figured I might as well. And I managed to get the final damage on him as well. And with that, the game will shortly end, so I will stop here and move on to the result screens. So, 173,000 damage, which is definitely not bad in Grozovoi, especially since it was with no torpedo hits at all. Only guns and of course fires. In the end, 66 planes shot down. And yeah, that enemy CV really didn't like me, and instead of trying to be useful, he tried to just take me out, probably just because he so desperately wanted to. But it was his mistake. He basically did no damage to me, and just lost all of his planes, and I don't think he had a very good game at all. 18,000 XP and also free XP, because I have some camos and flags for that. And the only reward I get is the Wither, hardly surprising, with 15 fires. And then also a couple of caps. Moving over to the base XP, we see that I am top with almost 2.2 thousand. Again, 2 kills, 66 plane kills. There are of course others with quite a few kills as well. We see the 30 Grozovoi, for example, 28, and then some in the 12 to 15 range as well. PME cameras, second with 1850 more or less. And then Pref, who died early trying to hold back the left flank, ends up in the middle somewhere. And as expected, we see that enemy CV ends up second to last in the game. And it's not really surprising, because I don't think he did very much damage at all. Too occupied trying to strike me or any ship close by me, and yeah, when you're in a tier 8 CV and you're facing a Grozovoi that is spec for AA, you're just asking for a bad game. D2 report. Most of my gun damage are from the AG shells. Shot a little bit of AP, but not too much. And we also see that I did 81,000 fire damage and 75,000 damage to aircraft. Looking at the damage I received, the rockets did about 4,000. That was really all he did. So I shot down 66 planes, he did 4,000 damage to me, so not exactly an even trade, but hopefully it was a lesson learned for him, although considering how much he wanted to kill me, I somehow doubt it. But overall I played pretty safe, didn't receive too much damage, while still maintaining a good amount of damage myself, and sadly only 2 kills. the Yamato I did 95,000 damage to, and I think I pretty much earned that one, but sometimes not meant to be. Instead I got the Montana and then the Enterprise as well, so I'll take that. So yeah, that was pretty much this game. Even though it was against Tier 8, it was also a really good example of how strong the AA is, and also how strong the Grozovoi is as a ship. Can you use torpedoes as well? You will obviously do even better, but even so, 173,000 damage with only guns is nothing to scoff at. So I hope you enjoyed this replay. I know I certainly enjoyed playing this game, and I will see you next time.